Our life in Christ is to be a picture of Christ, and therefore a legacy for our children, grandchildren, and even farther. Well, if you're joining us in reading through this 60-day reading plan, today's reading is 1 Peter 1, 8 through 15, and I encourage you to read that passage. Now, how much will your life tell others in the future about the fruitfulness of your walk with Christ? As I get older, it's not much more likely that I will live 40 or 50 more years. Now, this might come as a revelation to some, but most of us tend to think that our life on earth is eternal until we get to the point where we're staring death in the face. It's then that we tend to change our opinion. Verses 13 through 15 are a challenge to us. First, we're told to get ready for action. Our Christian walk is not a sit on our bottoms type of relationship. It's an active relationship. It is a relationship which requires a response. Secondly, we're told that we are not to be conformed to that which we used to be before our relationship with Christ. We're not to look like it, we're not to act like it, and we're not to glorify it. We're to be different. We're to be transformed. And frankly, this means that we should be changed. We should look and act differently. We should think differently, and we should respond differently. Finally, we're to be exactly the opposite of what we were. I want you to notice in verses 14 and 15 that Peter gives a comparison. We're not to be like we were. We're to be like God in the sense that our lives would be holy and not consist of the things that would tarnish it. Now, this may sound strange to Protestant ears, but we need to act like we're removed from the world, much like a monk is removed from the world. Now, that doesn't mean that we cease to exist. It doesn't mean that we don't interact with the world. It says that we are to be incredibly active with the world. We as Protestants tend to see a monastery as a removal from the world, but in reality, it's not a removal. It's much more of a war room, because it is there that prayer becomes tantamount in a person's life, and it's there that one can focus on the prayers that can change the world.